Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV, and welcome to the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series once again. This is round 6 from the Watkins Glen circuit in the United States. Andrew Woodhouse here with Marco Barbanera, who's also on the cameras. Welcome, Marco. Watkins Glen is very, very exciting. It always provides good racing. I'm sure we'll see it again here today.
Absolutely, hello everyone. I'm a bit sad that Adam is not with us tonight, and I promise we will keep the wrestling references to a minimum, but I'm so happy to be here because this is one of my favorite tracks in iRacing, one of the few tracks where I'm actually competitive, because, you know, high participation tracks, everyone knows it. In some series, example the SRF series, the Spec Racer 4, it is considered a free track. Everyone, I think, is the most popular road track in iRacing, so these drivers know it extremely well. We went from Mount Panorama last week to this track, completely different racetracks. Of course, we are running the long version, the booth version, the one used in the 6 hours of the Glen. And you know what we can expect here. A lot of drafting on that backstretch, some really close racing down into the booth section, and those narrow walls, especially in the first few laps, can really be tricky. These guys passed the test last week at Bathurst with a relatively clean race, I'd say, Andrew, but of course you know it better than me. When something goes wrong here at the SS in the first lap, yes, usually it's not good.
Yeah, I do. In the first iRacing race ever broadcast on Apex Racing TV all the way back in 2012, I was involved in a first lap pile-up just out of that first corner up the SS section. Yeah, turns 2, 3 and 4 always dangerous, and the drivers will be certainly looking out for that one. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a difficult circuit. There's some surface changes as well. There's some newer tarmac, some older tarmac. It's a concrete. There's all kinds of things going on. It's bumpy in places. Stijn van Buel goes into provisional pole position, but just a little recap of the championship so far. Yves van Genekten leads the way, 366 points. He had a nightmare the last time out, but I have a feeling that'll probably be his dropped score. Gregory Vranks in second, then Dan McCauley in third, who won last week, the silver driver. Then Matthias de Tige in fourth, Kobe Claes in fifth place, Javier Garcia in sixth, Chris Moretta seventh, Andrew Hopley eighth, then Stijn van Buel and Bod Boland. That's the top 10 overall in the championship. It's McCauley, Class and Hopley in the silver category, and then it's Bram van Outven, as you can see, him in 17th place overall, who leads the bronze category, ahead of Stuart Musselwhite and Pedro Braganza. You can see the rest of the drivers cycling through on the screen there. But mostly a Belgian series, this, Marco, but plenty of other drivers from a lot of the other countries as well. It seems like the drivers seem to be very respectful of one another in this series. It's a well-organised league.
Exactly. I had the pleasure to broadcast the very first race of this league on Apex Racing TV a few months ago. We were at Spa, the title decider, and it was a remarkably clean race. A lot of you know, hard racing, but fair racing. And yeah, I really liked it. And like I said last week, at Bathurst, usually a track that organizers circle in red when they have to do a race there, because you know that after the race there's going to be plenty of drama between the drivers. It went relatively clean in the end. We can expect drivers to have a little bit of an issue here and there, but
yeah, it's the kind of race where when it's announced on the calendar, the race organisers almost mute all their social media in advance just to get a break from it all, because they know that it's going to be there's going to be some action. But yeah, it was we haven't seen so far, at least, many problems really for a lot of the drivers, and that speaks volumes.
Yes, speaking of Bathurst, by the way, I was reading the preliminary schedule for the Le Mans series, which we broadcast on Wednesdays here, and week 11 of next season is going to be at Bathurst, so...
Really?
Oh, dear.
I mean, official racing at Bathurst, what could possibly go wrong, eh?
Yeah, with you know, the LMP1s, and maybe we get a new LMP2, who knows? And, you know, probably also the GT class will be popular as usual, especially the new car coming. That one, I am already looking forward to that broadcast.
Which is what, by the way? I'm not sure about that.
We don't know.
What's the new car? We just know that there is going to be one, do we?
Exactly.
Plot thickens as it does around here. Oh, off! Oh, and that's Stijn van Boel. Oh no, it's not. It's Ruben van Boel off into the wall. And well, BMW driver. I tell you what, the BMW is not necessarily going to be the strongest circuit for them today. They'll be just doing what they can, I think, Marco, to get decent points.
They will. I mean, of course, everyone who drives the BMW is a hero, because that's let's be clear, that is one of the oldest GT3s in service. Only the McLaren is older than the BMW amongst the cars that we have racing tonight. Of course, the Roof GT3 car also very old as well. It came after the McLaren, if I remember correctly, but of course it's not raced anymore. And the Ford, what can we say about the Ford? That car that I still get, a Ford in an official race every once in a while. Mainly trolls, I think. People, oh, that guy's driving the Ford, because they know one of them drives the Ford only to be that guy in the Ford,
I know in the first season of World GTs, I think Rusty Laidler drove the Ford for a bit of a troll. Dennis Melchert's driven it as well. I know in some of our series he's driven the Ford, so it's an old boat of a thing. Oh, that's Thijs Berger off into the arm coat. Quite a heavy crash.
Yeah, the engine is gone.
Immediately back out again. So there's no limit to cars, so you can tow the cars, Marco, back to the pits and go again.
I was well, it's very, very important, I think, to get good qualifying here, because it's not going to be easy to pass. Yes, of course, these guys have 1 hour to race, to make their overtakes and strategies, of course, but it's not the easiest place to pass. That bus stop is always tricky. When you try to go for a move there, you need full cooperation from your opponent, and things can go wrong in an instant there. And then, in the booth, there's, I think, maybe one corner where you can really go for a move. Apart from that, you have to follow your opponent and hope for the best. And of course, turn 1 also is a good passing opportunity with the road going down the hill. You can outbrake your opponent, but all very, very tricky spots. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I see a little bit of a mist in the air in the distance.
Yes, there was a little bit, wasn't there? And so I wonder if it might come into play a little bit later, if it may well change the track conditions substantially. Can we get the track conditions up on the screen just so we can have a little look for the viewers at home? 28 degrees is the track temperature here in upstate New York, and partly cloudy with 10 km/h winds. So the wind isn't particularly strong. It may affect them slightly though, going through the S's, and maybe affecting the braking for turn 1, but we'll see as this meeting progresses. Here's Ruben van Boel then, Marco. Currently in 7th place. Oh, not having the tidiest qualifying I've ever seen. Can he improve though? He hasn't set any personal best sectors on this lap.
Yeah, I noticed that 100% humidity. So this feels a bit more like a race in Singapore than a race at Watkins Glen, basically.
Yeah, not normal New York weather, I don't think. Van Boel does not improve. 1:45.8, a couple of tenths shy of his best. Chris Moretta is just entering his fastest lap. Oh, Kobe Klass is he's on a lap. Where's he going to go? Because he's been one who's been very good this season so far. Fifth place overall in the championship. Here he comes then, Kobe Klass. Over the line he comes, and he goes. He stays in 17th place. I think that just highlights the difficulty of the BMW, Marco, because Klass is in, like I say, he's in 5th place in the championship. If finished second last week, so that's not his true ability.
Yeah, I mean, when the Mercedes came out, it really put a dagger. And I mean, I drove the BMW back in the day, and when the Mercedes came out, I like front engine cars. So the BMW is sorry, the Mercedes is much more. Oh, that was okay. That Mercedes there is not very, you know, straight, but usually it's the Mercedes is very easy to drive, if a car can be defined as easy, but it's easy to drive. It's really predictable.
It's easier, isn't it?
Easier, yeah. And most importantly, I'd say it's a jack of all trades. It's a car that really can be used on any kind of track. As Van Genechten gets the fastest lap so far in qualifying.
That's a good lap, Marco. That is
3.5
tenths quicker than anybody else.
Exactly, and let's see if Van Buel and Boland and all the other guys near the top will you know, reply. All the other GT3s need to be need a very specific kind of driving, and you know, for example, the Audi is very fast, but is you know, a car that you really need to respect, for example, because it tends to be a little bit unstable in certain conditions, but very fast when you can get it to work. The BMW.
Why do you think then that, sorry, that we're not seeing many Ferraris and Audis out there? Do you think that is just because maybe, especially in the Audi's case, that the drivers maybe just aren't comfortable with it, or just find the others a bit easier?
I think so. I think the first, the first thing you said. I mean, the Audi is a bit tricky, and especially, you know, maybe every once in a while when you are doing like official racing, you can switch car, no problem, from one race to the other. You can do a race in the Ferrari.
Different tracks, yeah.
Exactly. Here you have to pick a car for the entirety of the season, and I think these drivers, I mean, not a surprise that the majority of the cars are Mercedes, with some BMWs here and there, and you can see, yeah, the old Ferrari. I don't think we have many. I'm looking throughout the field, but I don't think we have Audis in the race today. No, I don't think
there
so.
is.
Maybe one.
So there are two Audis registered for the championship, and there are one of them's only done one round, and one of them has done only 3 rounds, I think. So yeah, it's not very. And there is actually a McLaren registered for the championship as well, but that is driver there, Salvador Sanchez, hasn't actually done any races.
I remember trying. I mean, one afternoon I took all the GT3 cars and tried it one after the other on this track, because it's a track I know really well. I wanted to find the best for me, no? And I remember okay, I'm a terrible driver, but with the McLaren, I couldn't get out of the S's while pushing. The car was always braking. You know, the rear end was. All of a sudden, you lost the car and you were straight into the barrier. Another car that, if you know how to drive it, it can be super fast, but you really need to know how to drive it and how to make it perform at 100% possibilities. You know, so as Van Buel goes onto the start-finish line, it's a 45.3, and he doesn't improve, still in second. Not much time left. I think this will be his last attempt at the pole position with only 3 minutes left.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough marker to surpass if Van Genechten's 144.48. This is Bob Boland. Oh,
take some traffic.
And if that was his fast lap, that is going to be very annoying.
So I see some damage on the car.
I think it is. Yeah.
Front right seems a bit damaged.
We spoke to Bob last week. He was very happy with his 3rd place. And 2 podiums for him this season, but then the other races have been slim pickings. Just 26 points in the other 3 races. The 2 podiums got him 140 points. So we're wanting to just establish some consistency. This is Peter Grauls of the Netherlands, who's currently in 20th place in the championship. It's not had the best season so far, but he's in 4th at the minute. And he'll be looking. I tell you what, this is a good opportunity for several of the drivers to get on the board with a good result. The ones who potentially have been losing out to the BMWs, and it's improved speed over the start of the season. Here's Gregory Branks. He goes. What does he do? He goes up to 4th ahead of Peter Growls. 145.3.
Let's see if Growls is improving as he's in the carousel. Also, let's not forget tonight, it's Valentine's, so all of these drivers that are in relationships are all heroes to me. they did the.
They've taken one for the. They've taken one for the team, haven't they? A bit on this one, yeah. That's it. Well, is it going to be the greatest track they've ever known? I don't know. It might be. The only love I think that they'll be experiencing is that of the GT3 cars tonight.
Yes. Which, I mean, for
which
one
is
night
fine, you know, it's fine.
I don't have a problem with that, to be honest.
Growls then going through the last 2 corners on the lap here at Watkins Glen. Very famous circuit, very historic. And here comes Growls then. No personal best for him. It looks like the track's heating up quite a lot. And what does his time say? 146.8, not the best lap time. He can go one more time if he so wishes, and I think it's worth having a go. Excuse me. Stuart Musselwhite comes across, 23rd. He doesn't improve, but he does go. He is 2nd in the bronze category at the moment. Roy Viveka. What does he do? P6. Is Roy. I've shared a few alcoholic beverages with Roy in the past, actually. Very nice guy. And yeah, he'll be. He's doing well, actually. He's 6th out of the BMWs. Can be fairly happy with that. Oh, that's Van Poel into the wall again. It is not his qualifying session at all. And P7 it's going to have to be for car 48. Car 48 crashing about as much as it did in the Daytona Duel the other day.
Yeah, just a bit, I mean.
Oh dear, that was a big one. Yeah, that was one of the biggest ones I've seen in a while. And speaking of big happenings, Dan McCauley last week took the overall victory, the silver driver in the BMW. Here's Peter Growls again. Doesn't look like a great lap, I'll be honest with you. He's hanging on to it. I wonder if he might abandon here. No, he's going to go for it. He's going to go to the line. Is he going to improve his time? 145.1 to beat. Comes across and does a 146.8. So maybe. I wonder if he might have just done a couple of race simulation laps there, Marco, because there was no other reason to finish that lap, really.
Yeah, so if you guys are seeing from home, the changing conditions now, because the sun has disappeared.
Sorry, Marco, I just think Stuart Musselwhite might have just gone 2nd in bronze, actually, with...
He did, yes.
146.9. And Pedro Braganza is the one who's going to be on pole position, really sticking it to Bram van Outven then this time, who's won, I think, all the bronze races apart from one so far. So, very good indeed. In fact, yeah, Dries Moosdy is the only other one, I think, who's the only other bronze driver who's taken a win this season. Is there anybody else out on the circuit? I don't believe there is. And in just a moment or two's time, we're going to get the qualifying results up on the screen. We look forward to this one. It's going to be 1 hour around this Watkins Glen boot configuration. 42 degrees is the track temperature, actually, then. 28 is the air temperature. So very, very warm here, unlike how it's actually been in New York State recently. Okay, so Irfan Ganekten on pole position, 144.483. terrific lap, really, there. Just absolutely destroyed everyone else. Stein Van Boel in second place, absolutely wringing the neck of the BMW in order to get it onto the front row. Bob Boland in third, Gregory Vranks in fourth, then Peter Grauls in fifth, Javier Garcia in sixth, Ruben Van Boel in seventh, and Arturo Alvarez in eighth. Andrew Hopley in ninth, with Sebastian Ebere in 10th, Nick Schurmans in 11th, and Dan McCauley in 12th. 13th for Stephen De Wolf, ahead of Steve Kleis, and then Chris Moretta in 15th, Roy Verveca in 16th, Ben Mears in 17th, Koba Klaas in 18th. That'll be a good silver battle in the middle of the grid. Ben Taines in 19th, Lee Deemer in 20th, Ronald Moons in 21st, Pedro Braganza in 22nd, then Stuart Musselwhite in 23rd, Bram van Outven in 24th, Thijs Berger 25th, 26th for Lee Woodburn, 27th for Jochen Lennartz, Dries Moosdy in 28th, Luke Tice in 29th, and bringing up the back of the field then is Rolf Joost.
I really hope, I think we are in for a fantastic race. My only hope that nothing happens in the first lap, because it is a track that always provides for some close racing. And of course, I almost forgot, one of the older scans in racing, so let's enjoy the entire pace lap from our it's not as bad as Road America, where when you do the race, like, you have to add like 10 more minutes because of how long is
so that's a long thing. That's a long lap in general without going at 60 miles an hour or whatever it is. Yeah, that's so, 2.5 minutes regardless.
But it gives time for us to go through the starting grid when we are in a rush. Not the case tonight, of course. And now we are rolling finally, and you can see this fantastic field of cars behind the roof RT12 pace car, as we have one guy starting from the pit, is Dries Moosdy.
I've got to say, Marco, as well, looking at that long shot of the cars leaving the grid, very colourful grid here in the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT series as well. We do appreciate that. Of course, a lot of Formula One teams are launching their cars this week, and we're seeing a really colourful outlook for 2019 season in that as well. And yeah, I do like a bit of colour on the grid. I remember a few years ago, even in sim racing, there were a lot of sort of black and red cars, but you know, it was all very similar. And it's good to see people now coming out with a lot of different designs. I know your team are quite brightly coloured as well.
Yeah, you really hit the point there, because I like when, I remember covering the Sim Racers Asia Championship a couple of seasons ago, and that was
a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and that was made of guys that, due to the difference in time zones, you usually don't race against when you do the official series. And so you had all these different liveries from all over the world, especially in Asia and East Asia and Australia, and there were some beautiful ones in there. I like a colorful grid, and I like, on a personal note, my car to stand out from the others. And I remember doing my very first broadcast race many years ago in the Skip Barber 2K Oval World Championship, and I was always in last place, but you could see my magenta helmet, magenta wheel, and magenta car all over the back, all in the back of the field, but you could still see me at that. Luckily, now in my team there are some very fast drivers, so it's only needed when I'm racing, the bright livery. But yes, it's beautiful to see all these cars. There are some that are absolutely amazing. They are all very beautiful, I might add. My personal favorite is this one. It reminds me of the Jordan when I was a little kid, with this, green, blue, and the Tic Tac sponsoring. It's
beautiful,
nice
beautiful livery there, and one of the iconic Formula One cars as well. I do like the car, Bob Boland's car. I'm always a bit partial to the luminous yellow. I think that's something to do with Valentino Rossi. I've always liked that, so I do sort of have a soft spot for those guys. And also give a shout out to the Automech Knock Hill guys, Roy Rebecca, Ben Mears, for the half and half, similar to Rory Butcher's British Touring car from last year, and 20 years on from the BAR Supertech as well, which was zipped up the middle. So definitely, liveries are always fun, but now, well, as the old saying goes, it's time to trade some paint out on the circuit. And how many of these cars are going to stay pristine like this? I hope it's more than a handful. Here we go, coming to the line then in Watkins Glen in the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series, round 6 of the season. It's underway. Good start by everybody. Look at them all fanning out. Really, really wide front stretch here. Van Genekten gets into turn 1 first, barely ahead of Bob Boland. A couple of cars running, in fact, most cars actually being very well behaved through the first corner. Nobody really running wide. That's usually what causes a lot of the problems. But through the SS section, then everybody pretty much single file. They know, Marco, that bad things can happen if they get too punchy at this early stage.
Exactly, and they know we are watching as they go through the trouble spot.
Side by side into the bus stop between Van Boel and Garcia. I don't know if they. I think they made it through. I've got a feeling they did.
It seems like they did some noise of fenders wrapping, but it seems like it's all good. And now we are into the booth, this section that was added after the track was originally designed to make it a little bit longer, as Schurmans has got a problem in the back of the field.
I think Schurmans
told already
currently 15th in the championship, had a good start to the season, amassed 99 points in the first 2 races, only 18 points in the last 3 races. Let's see what's happened to him. It's a spin in the chute. And there's a very nice tree. So, Nick Schurmans though, well, he's going to be, he isn't going to be very happy after that one. Yeah, just not going well for him at the minute. I hope he can recover his form soon.
Look at this battle here. All over the field we have cars very close together. Of course, being the first lap, but everyone behaved well. I mean, too bad for Nick Schurmans there. It was a self-spin, and he was very, very kind because you immediately towed back to the pits, because that is a very, very troublesome position to be, especially in the first lap. And so, you know, his car seems to be okay, so he didn't have to go, in my opinion, but he did it, and I mean, congratulations to him, because it's not easy.
It is a long lap, so he might be able to get out there and only be maybe 1 lap down. Garcia versus Gregory Franks then into the bus stop chicane, and Mercedes versus Mercedes, somewhat unsurprisingly at the front. Van Genekten leads, Boland second, then Van Boel, then Rodriguez, then Franks, then Grauls, and Toro Alvarez.
The sun has definitely gone behind some clouds from the back of qualifying, from the end of qualifying to this moment when we started the race, because you can see the track lighting is not as clear as when we went on the air at the beginning of qualifying. And this, of course,
according to the sim, the time is 9 o'clock in the morning here, so
oh yeah,
quite an interesting. It's quite an interesting lighting configuration that we don't normally see in many races. Actually, the morning races, which is quite cool. Everybody seems to be. Oh, it was very well driven actually those first couple of laps. If Van Genekten then has stormed away to a 1.6 second lead over Bob Boland. See if he can keep that going. I mean, he was very, very fast in qualifying. 1:45.3. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, I think that would have put him about 5th on the grid. Crazy lap time.
Fantastic lap, and of course he has been the fastest so far in the race in first lap, but also in this one. So he is pushing really, really hard. Here's Ruben Van Buel. He's in the midst of a silver driver sandwich with Arturo Alonso Alvarez in front of him and Daniel McCormick behind him. And in front of these guys, still the battle for P4 between Garcia and Ranks.
Garcia, number 46. He is inspired by Valentino Rossi. So if you go on board with Gregory Franks, Marco, but you can see on the back of the Mercedes, it says Mini Doctor on there. So definitely inspired by the great motorcycle champion, as I was as well, as I said earlier on. Now, oh dear me, there's a Ferrari losing it at the top of the hill. Rolf Just into the barrier hard, and the Ferrari there doing exactly what McLaren, what Marco was on about with the McLaren, just losing it, and it sort of bottoms out a bit at the top of the hill.
It did, yeah. And when you hit there in the front, I mean, front or rear, and it doesn't make any difference. You really need to bring that car back behind the wall, because you have so much speed through there, and you hit such an unfortunate angle that you are off as oh no,
As much as
yeah, no, it's the live timing updating. I thought there was a pass for the lead, but it's poor Rolf just going down the order, sadly, because he has towed. And when you tow, you basically gain a lap on everyone, then you lose it while the tow
you
track...
lose it back with the time that you the time that you have to sit there. Yes. I've forgotten what was next then. Yeah, so Van Genekten, you can see him extending the lead. This is a battle between Roy Verbeeker and Steven de Wolf. BMW versus BMW. This is a great run here by Roy Verbeeker. And Moret and de Wolf having to... Oh, getting a bit sideways through the bus stop here. Chris Moretta is behind as well, as is Lee Diemer.
I need to point out, by the way, since you know, it was a common occurrence during the old broadcast when we talked about Ferrari and Ducati. Also, not a big fan of Valentino Rossi as well. So I'm the atypical Italian. Don't like Ferrari, don't like Ducati, and more importantly, I'm not a big fan of Valentino Rossi. A fantastic motorcycle rider, one of the best in the world, best in the history. But no, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I must admit I didn't used to be, but
some people once said that they are going to revoke my passport one of these days if they hear me on one of these broadcasts talking trash about Ferrari, Ducati, Valentino Rossi and company.
I think, you know, this is the thing. I must admit I never used to be a big fan of Rossi. I think I'm always conditioned to sort of dislike people who are too good. I think is part of the thing. But it's the same with Ferrari. I used to love Ferrari. They used to be my favourite team in F1 and in other things. And then they started sort of taking the mickey a little bit with the rules and all the other things, and didn't like them again for a while. And well, in fact, for mostly since I haven't really liked them that much. So. Apart from when they were fighting against Red Bull for the world title, because that was when, because I do like Fernando Alonso. Now, Ruben van Boel then, who had a bit of a difficult qualifying, but he looks to be driving smoothly at the moment, and he's in 9th place. So 2 positions are lost, but more importantly, he's kept all the bits on his car where they're supposed to be.
As Steve Van Buren is closing in on Bob Boland for the 2nd position, as of course Van Genekten is running away right now. He's got a 3 seconds lead over these 2 guys, and Boland goes a bit wide, more than a bit wide, and maybe Van Buren, if he can following closely through these final 2 corners, can have a great run through the first front stretch and maybe go for a pass into the first corner.
He needs to really follow that Mercedes as tightly as possible, pick up the slipstream. You can see the Mercedes just pulling away in the first half of the straight, so even though he gets the slipstream, Van Boel, it's not the longest pitch straight in the world. Boland's struggling with understeer. See what the BMW does up the hill. Seems to have a slightly better line, Van Boel. He's picking up the toe now, Marco. He's gaining. Gonna have to have a dive if he wants it, but the bus stop chicane cuts off about half the straight.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, we did the VSR Radicals a few weeks ago. I think it was the 1st or 2nd week of the championship, and they were racing at this track, but without the bus stop, and there were some amazing slipstreaming left and right, but you know, then you postpone your problems to the carousel, and maybe you get there with 3 or 4 cars all across the track, and you really need to behave there. But too bad, because I really like the, you know, the possibility of getting the tow for the entirety of the straight and then trying for a move there at the carousel.
I can see why the bus stop chicane's there. I think there were several accidents actually at that corner. I think there were a few fatalities as well.
Yeah,
potentially.
JD McDuffie in the NASCAR
JD
race.
McDuffie, that's it.
And the year previous or the year after, I don't know, but Tommy Kendall had a massive off, which still to this day he is suffering from the consequences, because he really hurt his leg really bad. And then they decided, okay, let's put a chicane there, because the speed that they get through there is absolutely massive.
I think that's, yeah, that's why I can see why the bus stop chicane's there, but it does unfortunately slightly stunt the racing down the back straight. But you know, I'd rather have slightly worse racing than what we had in the past with those two gentlemen. Now, Gregory Franks up the hill through the S's section. I'd love a Grand Prix to come back to here, I really would, but it's the way the track is at the minute, it's not really that viable. Is he going to go for a move? This would be very brave indeed for, and that's Van Boel on Boland. Been very brave going up the inside there.
Yeah, I don't think that the FIA would like that SS section too much.
No, they would not. They would not at all. I guess it does hold FIA sanctioned events, but only slightly, I guess only, because it doesn't hold IndyCar either, does it, Watkins?
It did for a season, because they lost a race in Boston. I have to be honest, I don't remember if they came back, it was a couple of years ago. But the standards in the USA are a bit different, so they can get away with it. F1, I think the FIA would need, for almost all of the North American tracks, to get different standards. I'm thinking also of Road America, no, some corners there. I mean, I absolutely love those tracks, but when I read, oh yeah, maybe Formula One should go to these tracks, I say please no, because they would completely change the nature of some of these fantastic corners.
So it looks like they've raced here in 2016 and 2017. I'm not sure if they raced here last year or not. I feel like they did, but I'm just not completely sure on that one. Also as well, Francois Sever also died at this track, but that was much earlier than McDuffie. McDuffie was in 1991, Sever was 1973. Did used to host, obviously, US Grand Prix for several years, and they're much different guys as well. When it was held in the 60s, the track was much different. As here's Daniel McCauley having a run at, oh dear me, at Alvarez. And Alvarez sort of defended a bit strangely, Marco, but it kind of helped him in a way, because when McCauley had the momentum, he just couldn't find a way through. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and I have to say, respect to both of these guys who really, you know, kept it clean, because that would have been, you know, one of those tricky moments, because they were side by side and the faster car was on the outside at the bus stop. Also, Steve Van Buell still not able to get the move done on Bob Boland, despite these two guys being so close for I think around 3 or 4 laps now. But the BMW seems to be missing something, and right behind them still, Ranks and Garcia cannot...
It seems like it's missing traction out of the medium and slow speed corners, and that's the real problem for it. It seems like in the fast stuff he's got actually better stability than the Mercedes does, but just can't pick up off the corner as well as the bigger car can.
Gap between 1 and 2. Changing a bit between Van Genechten and Boland. I think that Van Genechten had a little bit of a mistake in the previous lap, and that gap dropped, it was around 5 seconds, now it's down to 3.8, so he might have had a mistake at the bus stop, if I got that correctly on the live timing.
much change in that gap there over the last couple of laps at least. Andrew Hopley is at the back of this group then with Ruben Van Boel, Macaulay and Alvarez. This is the sort of close racing that we see quite often in this series. Oh, Hopley very nearly squeezing past. Interestingly, I'm just seeing this on this page of Watkins Glen history. An old ticket for the Grand Prix in 1973, and it was $15. Oh, it's not bad if you could get into a Grand Prix for that these days. I think everybody would be happy. GT3 racing, that's usually about what you pay for the tickets for that. And GT3 racing in the past sort of 10 years or so really has allowed a lot of fans, Marco, the chance to experience top quality motor racing at a reasonable price.
Yes, I always talk about the 2016 Spa 24 Hours, which I was lucky enough to attend. And
was that the one with all the red flags?
It was the one that had only 2 safety cars. Granted, one lasted 1 hour because a Ferrari and a Porsche decided to destroy the barrier at the end of Rouge Raidillon. But yeah, it was a remarkably clean Spa 24-hour race, and also it was as Raverbeck.
Oh, I think he's got him now, Marco. Sorry to interrupt, but I think Van Boel is going to have a go here. Boland not covering the inside. Carried so much speed into there, Bob Boland. Did you see how fast he was through the bus stop? He's getting 0.6 of a second through there.
Yeah, and I think Van Boel also had a little bit of a, he didn't have the ideal line going through the bus to finish my. Oh, Boland a bit wide, more than a bit wide there, and maybe Van Boel now can close the gap once again.
We've seen.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've seen many drivers crash there, haven't we? Getting a wheel on the grass.
Of course, I shouldn't point you to the broadcast of the World GT in the round 1 in Watkins Glen a few weeks ago, but if you want after this one, go catch what happened there. I think it was in race 2. But yeah, we had a flying Ferrari amongst other things, so that part of the track there can be quite tricky as well, especially that left-hander going down the hill. When you have a problem there, you cannot see if you are coming from the previous corner what's going on there. So you go there, you say okay, it's all clean, and then you find the car stuck because it seems so wide, but it's not really wide, especially when you consider what is the right racing line. Then as Luktis has got a problem.
Yeah, let's have a little look here then. Went through the chute. And there you go.
Speak of the devil. Oh.
Ooh. Ben Taines has crashed as well. I'm not exactly sure what's happened to him. Oh, it's not going to be a final corner job into the wall, is it? Oh, sideways on the way in. Can he save it? Can he save it? Can he save it? Oh, no. Oh, hello. Somebody was very lucky. I think it might have been Ronald Moons.
It wasn't a big hit, and luckily for him, he just had to cross the road to go to the pit lane. So
that's it. Sorry, finish your story. I wanted to hear the story.
Okay, just to say that I mean, with a price of I think 50 euros, we had a ticket for the entirety of the weekend. We could go anywhere, and it was so open, even though it was Spa 24-hour event. So there's a lot at stake. It's a fantastic race, very prestigious race. But we slept basically we camped inside the racetrack on top of the Brussels corner. I've been to Formula 1 Grand Prix. I've been to many events. It was the best event I've ever been, by far. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to go to it. Ooh. Did I hear some sliding there from the guys just in front? I think everyone's got away with that. Yeah, I'd like to go to a 24-hour race one day.
Oh, I forgot to mention the best thing of them all.
Very good.
Best thing of them all was falling asleep on Saturday night with sound of the engines roaring. And actually, what woke me up at night a couple of times were two full course yellows. So when the engine's note goes the lead over Sturm is like 2.6 seconds, but like I said, there's a car in between them, so that is Ben Thames. So, I mean, Pedro is one of the nicest drivers, and also another very nice colorful livery, I might add. As I apologize to everyone, but my OBS decided to crash for whatever reason. And yes, I launched it like 5 seconds later, but by default I have the audio muted for obvious reasons. So yeah, we lost a couple of minutes of commentary here and there. But yeah, the battle for the lead, the second place, sorry, in... yeah, exactly.
Use.
Okay, and I also just noticed that I had you muted as well, so I was talking alone like an idiot. Hopefully
well,
the chat can you know, I keep everything on muted because you never know when you launch the stream if you're talking, etc. So it defaulted to that, and yeah, I, you know, one thing after the other, I was able, I think, now we should be back 100% with the car audio, my audio, and most importantly Woody's audio, as we are getting closer and closer to the halfway mark of this race, and I think some drivers already went in for the pit stops. We are expecting one stop, and I'd say with certainty that these drivers will probably only take fuel, because the time it takes to take tires is not, you know, cannot be compensated by the quicker pace on the track, because you lose so much time here. If I'm not mistaken, they do one tire at the time, so it takes almost 40-45 seconds to do fuel plus, you know, all the 4 tires.
And not always, often as well, they do, yeah, they just think that it's just the time is just too much to make up, isn't it, in such a short space of time. Notice Dan McCauley's got some slight buckling on the front left of his BMW Marco as well. On the, well, he's got some on the front right of the bonnet there, and then if you look at the front splitter, It's just a tiny bit lifted off the ground on one side as well. So not the optimal aerodynamic performance for the CQR Club car of Macaulay. Here's Boland again and Van Boel again. 1.5 tenths is the gap. This time no move, no look to the inside from Van Boel because, well, he knows that unless you're fully alongside, as Marco said at the beginning of the broadcast, you're not making it through in the bus stop chicane. Not at all.
And it must be frustrating for Steven Van Boel because he gets so close lap after lap in the first part of the circuit, and then he has to give up because he's not you know, in a position to make a sensible move there on his opponent, and then he has to do it all over again from scratch once again as they go to the booth and back to the... So I might, if I was him, I maybe try and get something done. For example, just pit 1 lap earlier just to see if you know, something can happen out of that.
So drivers who've pitted, you've got Viveka, Mujdi, Dima, Van Outven and Woodburn. They're the ones who haven't sustained any difficulty, it seems, anyway. Here is Lee Dima, 1 stop for the gold driver. 25th place for him at the minute. This is Lee Woodburn going wide and I believe maybe conceding a position. Does he to... Oh.
And he towed back to the pits after this, so game over for Lee Woodburn. I have no idea what happened there. But maybe he had some contact earlier and he felt his car was not responding like he wanted.
Yeah, maybe so. Might be just a slight issue there for him. Yeah, we'll see. See if we can find out later on, or for next week at least. So it's Vangenector, Boland, Van Boel, Rodriguez, Franks, Growls, Alvarez and Macaulay. So top 8. Here is Stein Van Boel again. Oh, not that. That's Macaulay versus Hopley. 2 BMWs going to battle. Hopley for... yeah, Hopley's having a great drive here in terms of the pressure he's putting on Macaulay anyway. For Hopley, he's currently sat in 8th in the championship. He's the 3rd of the BMWs, the 3rd of the silver drivers on Ikoba class, and Daniel Macaulay are in front of him, so it's important for the championship standings, at least for Andrew, that he tries to get past Dan Macaulay.
Little bit of a moment here for Chris Moretta. Nothing major, I suspect he just went wide here. No, he didn't. Maybe then he went wide here.
Ah, yeah. Quite easy to do as well. You can get quite a bit of understeer going through that, through the long corner there, the toe of the boot. This is close for Van Boel now. We've said this a couple of times, Marco, but it seems like the run is good. Well over 250 kilometers an hour, as you can see on the screen. Boland's having to go defensive. Van Boel, can he go around the outside? Doesn't have the momentum. He's relying on a mistake from Bod. Bod's cut the course. I think he might have to give up the time gain there. Oh, he may well. Has he got away with this, Marco? This will be key.
I think he did. I think he did. Oh, he's going for it, and he thinks better of it. And also now Van Boel is sliding and losing precious time, and you don't want to slide tires in a racing for whatever reason. You know, because it's going to be, especially if you're not going to change them, it's going to be super tough to, you have to wait a bit to get, you know, the tires at the optimal working state, if you are able to do that. But yeah, he's definitely trying to pressure Boland into a mistake, which is, you know, not easy, especially since you have the help of ABS in these cars. Mistakes can be possible still, but of course with ABS helping you, it's a little bit more difficult to get your braking wrong, especially when under pressure.
Boland certainly under pressure from Van Boel. You can see the BMW understeering as he He's right in the wake of that Mercedes. Decent run down the front straight here. Seems to be good out of turn 1, Marco. This seems to be where Van Boel's the strongest. And look at that, he picks up throttle so early. This is a superb run. This is the best one he's got so far. Is he too close now, Marco?
Wow, look at that. You get a good look at the front end of that BMW side by side on the backstretch once again.
Sooner rather than later, he might just try the outside here. Oh, and again, he has to give it up, but he's given away 0.3 of a second there. Van Boel, if you're going to make the move, do it. If you're not, don't, because that's exactly what it cost you. This is Macaulay on Alvarez for 7th place. He goes around the outside.
What
and that is how you make the move at the bus stop. Terrific stuff by Macaulay. And last week's winner is through, and Alvarez nearly is collected by Hopley as he was very slow through the carousel.
What a fantastic battle for the lead. In the silver class, the first 3 drivers are basically all together, and that was a fantastic pass by Daniel Macaulay. Absolutely amazing.
What we have to say as well, Marco, is that Andrew Hopley, he really, really needs to get past Alvarez if he wants to carry on after Macaulay, because he knows if Macaulay gets away from him, he may not be able to catch him again. Is he going to dive up the inside into the into the heel, sorry. Alvarez is really struggling, I don't know why, but he's all over the place.
Oh, he's going for
it. Oh, a bit of contact, side-by-side contact. They've given up the positions to Van Boel. Van Boel goes through. That's damage to the front right corner of the BMW. It's quite big damage to Hopley. It might even be broken suspension, or is he just letting Alvarez go back through for the contact? I think that might be exactly what's happened here.
Big damage there on the front right. In the end, Alvarez just got a side hit, so it should be okay, but then Hopley went into the wall very hard there at an unfavorable angle, and so that is quite a significant damage on the front right of the BMW. No fast repairs in this championship, so he will have to nurse that until the end of the race.
He just hit him right in the door, and that was enough to damage the front right. And here we go again. This is round 2.
No, sorry, this was the right one.
They are going for it again. He tried the switch back, flung it up the inside. He did, in fairness to Hopley, Marco, Alvarez did leave the door wide open, and he's through again. He's got him on this straight as Hopley. So we missed the overtake there. Bolen versus Van Boel. Van Boel, is he going to have a go? He might try the same move if he's fast enough through here, but again he has to have 2 bites at the cherry. This was the overtake for Andrew Hopley as he finally managed to navigate past Alvarez. It's up the inside into the bus stop. This time no prisoners taken, and into at 9th place he goes.
Yes, sorry for missing that. As also here we have.
All right, there was all sorts going on.
Yeah, as Verbeek goes by Lennartz. And also we've got Dries Moody in P4 of the bronze class, defending from Lee Diemer and trying to get into the podium of his class, with Thijsberg also. These 2 guys are fighting for 3rd in their class.
I find it quite a fun name to say as well, Moody.
Yeah.
Quite a fun name to say. And oh, he's having a look. The Rockstar Energy livery. Lee Diemer and Thijs Berger. Diemer, the gold driver, in amongst the bronze. Oh, around the outside. Oh, lovely move by Lee Diemer. Round the outside. At I believe that's turn 10. I'm not very good with the numbers around here. I know the names more than anything, but that's turn 9, isn't it? Sorry, turn 9.
Americans have very weird
10, 11, 12
ways of naming the corners of the tracks. I always think about a straight in Road America between turn 2 and turn 4, which is a corner, but it is straight, so it's turn 3.
It's turn 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean,
is that at the end, at the end of that straight? In no world, in no racing circuit in the world is that a corner.
yeah.
I mean, even in an articulated lorry, I don't think that's a corner. I'm pretty sure that's a straight. Now, oh, he clobbers the curb, does Boland, but he gets a good run. He almost gets pulled around the corner by the curb. And Van Boel again tries to mount his assault. I wonder if this is a better distance for Van Boel, because he can really pick up turn 1 well. No, it's not, is it? No, he's too far behind. He was almost too close previously. And that's why, Marco, by the time he got to the rear bumper of that Mercedes AMG, he'd lost all his momentum.
Exactly, yes, and it's not easy. It really is important to get your momentum right if you want to attempt a move there, and you can see now he has no chance of going for the pass. I mean, just think about it, these two guys have been so close to each other for, I'd say, the better part of the past half hour, and no one has blinked so far, no mistakes, and they kept it very, very clean, even when maybe Van Boel tried a couple of times to go for a move. It was never too risky, and I think I'm quite sure the pit stops will be massively important in deciding this battle, unless something happens on the track that we are not expecting, because these two guys are driving cleanly and, you know, driving very, very well.
Oh, and again, really, really close is Stein to the back of Boland's car. Boland is driving excellently, though. He's really positioning his car very, very well. You can see that he's coming off that second podium of the season. You can see that the confidence is flowing through him. Now, that's a great run. That's a terrific run by Stein Van Boel. Boland trying to defend. He goes to the middle of the circuit. He didn't go all the way over to the wall. I think that's what you have to do. You've got to go all the way to the white line to defend your position. He hasn't done it. Van Boel is through, but now we'll see the Mercedes power, Mark.
Exactly, and the move is done 37 minutes into the race. Patience paid off. Now we will see, like you said, if the Mercedes, if Boland can answer on the straight. I think he can.
Oh, here we go, around the outside, into the bus stop. And Boland takes it back. It took so long for Van Boel, Marco. It took so long for him to get through into second place. And straight away taken from him. Are we going to see something big here into the infield section? Into the chute he goes. And Boland resists the attack this time.
Well, what can you say? Racing can be very, very cruel sometimes. And you know, that is why we say this. I mean, he had a fantastic run finally, Van Boel. He was able to get the move done after all these 35 minutes spent behind his opponent, and then the next straight he's able to, Boland is able to get the position back once again. They are super close once again. Maybe Van Boel might go for a pass here, no, too risky.
Oh!
Ooh.
And Boland just assaults the curb on the inside. Also, having made their pit stops are Alvarez has made his pit stop. Stuart Musselwhite has made his as well.
Daniel McCauley with
Macaulay.
some problems. The leader in the silver class is going slowly.
And he's not going to be the leader anymore, because here comes Andrew Hopley. And Hopley goes all the way around the outside. Now then, what has happened to Daniel McCauley? Here's the question. Well, here's the answer maybe to that question. Just when you think you have all the answers, we change the questions. Oh, off! And, oh, bang! Big connection, not only with the front left tyre, Marco, but the rear left as well.
Yeah, that he's already in the pits, and I think going to be long repairs. Not sure if he can go back on track in time, and if he will, of course, he will be miles off the podium in his class. and that's a shame because he himself and his rivals in the silver class were really putting on a show for us so far in this race. They were definitely throwing everything at it, and
I'll
surprise,
tell you what,
these two guys.
When this race finishes, they're going to have a newfound respect for one another, I think, after this. Oh, and Bolin is going to leave the door open here. I wonder if Van Boel's going to this time take the invitation. Oh, he tries to throw it up the inside. But not this time. And the more... I wonder if Van Boel is maybe missing a trick a little bit here, Marco. I wonder if he maybe could have come into the pits. Although that's very tough, isn't it? Because a lot of the rest of them have stayed out, so he would have probably come out behind that battle for 9th, which actually, if you look, let's go to the battle for 9th, in fact, because that is it. 5 cars, very, very close together, and a 6th in Ben Mears at the back in 14th place. So very, very good. Stephen De Wolf is now up to 2nd in the silver class. Cobra class is 3rd. This is De Wolf in the sort of gold, red and black BMW. Here's Cobra class. 3rd in silver at the moment. Overall 5th in the championship. So this, even though it's still a decent result in class, for the overall championship, he's somewhat off. He's 48 seconds off the lead.
Oh, by the way,
not a strong track for the BMW, as we've said.
Ranks and Garcia are doing the same thing as Boland and Van Buel. Super close from the start. We are missing the overtake between these two guys. I mean, they still have to pass each other, but still super close since the beginning of the race. Thijs Berger's been in the pits. I can hear crashing. It's Garcia. Oh, it's Garcia. No, let's took out the camera. That's a commentator curse and a half, and I apologize.
Javier Garcia into the wall. Dear me. Big collision there with the wall. Let's see exactly what happened here. It was a tough angle to see. So he goes wide. He goes a little bit wide here. Gets a decent exit. Oh, he loses control. Yeah. He's lost control on the exit of turn 9. And that means that Gregory Ranks is 6th. He's going to stay 6th. Once again, Boland has to defend from the BMW of Van Boel, who this time doesn't make any moves to the inside of the track, which means he gets a good run through the carousel. I wonder if his best chance might not be the bus stop chicane, Marco. It could well be the infield section if he throws one up the inside. I mean, we saw that contact from we saw the contact between Hockley and Alvarez earlier on, but I wonder if it could still be Van Boel's best opportunity.
Well, I mean, you are right. It hasn't worked so far for him on the back street at the bus stop.
This is close.
This is super close. He's on the inside here. Can he go for it? No. But we've noticed he really loses time after the bus stop, and then he's in the booth where he gets once again close. So if he can somehow stay a little bit closer this time around, maybe he can go again for a move into the first corner, but then he knows he has to make a super defense before the bus stop.
What he doesn't need to do, in my opinion, is try anything into turn 1. Doesn't matter how good of a run he gets, and actually he didn't get a great run off of the final corner, turn 12. What he needs to do is just nail turn 1. That's pretty good. Not great though.
As Ruben Van Buel goes in the pits from P5, first of the top runners to blink.
I will say, looking at this onboard shot marker coming out the back of Boland's car, it does look like the BMW is much more stable going up the hill than he is. Boland, though, able to carry more speed through this chicane, so it's a very, very even battle as Van Genekten sets the fastest first sector of the race. 1:46.06, is that right?
Yes, it is right.
Dear me, that is a second quicker than anybody else out on the circuit. That is ridiculous.
And with
20
45,
seconds is the lead
I mean,
now.
with 45 laps, 45 minutes old tires.
Oh, no!
Well, that's a beautiful front end of the BMW.
It is indeed. Is he ready
there's
for
lap
this? Though?
car.
It looks a bit green to me as on the inside of the back marker, that's car 369, Jochen Lennartz, who wisely gets out of the way. Doesn't disrupt this battle for the second position. 1:46.02. Dear me, what a lap time! What a lap time by Van Genekten. In fact, that was his last lap time. He went even quicker. Went even quicker with this time. Here we go then, Boland and Van Boel again. This is brilliant, and it's becoming Marco a challenge for who's going to actually pit latest, or who's going to pit first. This is Ruben Van Boel taking on Ronald Moons. Moons has yet to pit. Van Boel has been in for a 10.48 second stop, so just for fuel. Bram van Outven was the first man into the pits and thus picked up a really, really long fuel stop. It's worked well for him so far this season, but today I have to say it's not really working out for him in the bronze class, man. Oh, Ruben Van Boel has crashed apparently. Oh, there he is! Strewn in the middle of the circuit, Van Boel. And I've no idea what happened to him. Here we go then. Now it's into turn 11. Turns in. Everything's fine there. Oh, he goes a bit wide. He gets a wheel on the grass. And into the wall. I'm surprised he towed back to the pits, Marco. I thought it didn't look like it was a huge crash, but maybe just too much.
Yeah, I think the frustration was very, very big there, and also I mean, maybe he knows something that we don't know, but the pits were so close there. You know, when you crash, you really, really sometimes don't think about the logical stuff, and you are only mad at yourself. So
that's true.
So will this guy blink? Will these guys blink, Boland and Van Boel? Will they go into the pits? Oh yeah, Van Boel goes in. I like when I get the prediction right.
This is going to be good. Because as well, we need to look at where Van Boel comes out in relation to traffic, because the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th is still raging, and he's coming through the last two corners. You know what, I think he might get out in this gap between 10th and 11th place. Depends on how short his stop is. I reckon it's going to be under 9 seconds, Marco, based on the other drivers and what they've done.
Good for him that Ranks and Opley, Moretta also pitting behind him, so
9.5.
Let's see who's coming. Steve Class is coming. Van Boel should be ahead, no and no one in front of him.
So this is a huge lap for Van Boel, and it's a huge lap for Bob Boland as well. If he wants this second place, he is going to have to hustle that Mercedes like he has never hustled it before. Because Stijn Van Boel is going to be on a mission. Now, the positives for Bob Boland is that whenever he comes into the pits, be it this lap or the next one, he's going to have a shorter stop in theory than what Van Boel had. So any time that he might lose on the track, he might gain back with having to put a lap or two less fuel in. We'll see if he can make this strategy work. Going long has worked so far for him, for Van Genekten, for Peter Grauls as well, first, second and third at the moment. But, well, we'll see. We will see. Boland driving nicely in this race. Coming through turn 12 then. Is he going to pull off into the pits? He does. Can he get slowed down in time for the cone? He can. That was nicely done. No drama there. Now Van Boel is 4th. You can see him on the track map. There he is, car 4. 2 corners to go. Boland is not in his box yet. This is going to be tight, Marco. I'm sure it is.
Yes, here is the Mercedes going into his pit stall as Peter Graus goes by, but we are really looking forward to Van Buel as he comes.
It's very close to the end of the pit lane though, Marco, as well. He can get out quickly. Oh, it's a long stop. It's 11.5. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose that 2nd place. The net 2nd place at least anyway. Graus has gone through, but he hasn't pitted yet. He's not in that equation for 2nd, but Stijn van Boel has jumped Bob Boland just by having a better pit stop, Marco.
Yes, looking at the overall times, we had Van Buel. His total pit stop time cone to cone was 42 seconds. Bob Boland at 43.7, so almost 2 seconds quicker was Van Buel there, and that made the difference.
Yeah, tremendous stuff out here in the pits. Oh, Boland pushing hard. He nearly crashed it coming out of the carousel. Very, very wide indeed. Steve Klaes is just behind him.
Yes, Van Genechten is in from the lead.
Not pitted yet. Yeah, the leader is in. And, well, he can just relax, really. Make sure you don't miss your pit box. Make sure you don't speed on entry or exit. There's no dangerous speeding on the exit. He's right next to the line. But Van Genechten, let's see what his stop is. It's not going to be a long one, I'm sure. It is going 7.4 seconds. He's done the quickest pit stop out of anybody here. So not only is he the fastest one on the track, he's the fastest one in the pits as well.
39.3 time cone to cone as Grauwels is in as well.
Very good that.
We have
the previous fastest was 39.5 by Chris Moretta. Moons and Alvarez side by side.
Moons really going long because he still has to stop.
Still going, Ronald Moons. Oh!
Gregory Ranks.
Alvarez nearly lost it in front of him, near me.
Ah, okay, yes. I mean, I saw Gregory Ranks drop down, but it was a connection issue. Good for him, he's still going. Let's see if Moons will finally go to the pits. He does, and
Peter Graus and Steve Klaes are in as well, as is Ben Taines, so he's the last one to come into the pits.
Exactly. So now everyone.
Good race for him.
Yeah. P8 right now. He's going to maybe drop a couple of positions here and there, but
nope.
It is expected. Or maybe not. No, he does.
Well, it was a hell of a middle stint that he ran there, Steve Klaes. One of the lowest rated drivers in terms of iRacing license class, so just a C license. But yeah, terrific job by him. The only one of only 2 Ferraris in the field here today. But having started 14th, Steve Klaes has climbed very nicely up into the top 8. The gold driver there. And here's De Wolf and Eberle and Moretta and Koba Klaas.
Klaas and De Wolf fighting for 3rd place in the silver category, and while we're at it, let's get.
So Eberle and De Wolf nearly hit each other in the chute.
Here are the classifications only for the respective class, so you can see the leader is Andrew Opley in the silver class, Arturo Alonso Alvarez is in 2nd, and Steven De Wolf in 3rd. You can see Klaes super close to his opponent on the podium, and in the bronze category, Stuart Musselwhite is the leader, 14 seconds over Bram van Outen, and in the chat they are saying it's only Stuart can lose this race, so they are trying to jinx him apparently, but Bram van Outen in 2nd and Pedro Braganza is in 3rd. All these 3 guys are a bit spread out from each other, so it should be a clean run to the end for the bronze category.
Now, Van Outen's done a good job in this race again, but it's just the fact that he pitted so early. He pitted on lap 9, where Stuart Musselwhite pitted on lap 17. And I have to say that Musselwhite, for a lap 17 pit stop, to do 7.83 seconds was just outstanding, it really was. And That's one of the reasons why he's won the race. I mean, or winning the race, 16 seconds difference in the pits. And again, to me, that just proves that the early stop isn't really very good. See what he's going for, trying to get some clear air, and that does help. But surely it would be. I mean, when you look at E.F. van Genegten's stop, Marco, of 7.4 seconds, you surely must realise that is really the way to go, pitting as late as possible.
Yeah, apparently that is the way to go, and it's usually always the way to go in the official series, so whatever IMSA or Blancpain, sorry, BRSTT or Le Mans series. Usually the later you stop, the better it is. As meantime, while we're at it, let's get the time difference between P2 and P3 after the pit stop Van Buren and Boland. You can see the gap is now 3 seconds. And
hello,
there's a
inside.
big sand.
Oh, well, that was De Wolf having a look at Heberet.
So apparently, after the pit stop, Van Buren is little by little inching away from Bob Boland after following him for the majority of this race, as we are all of a sudden only 3 minutes and a bit away from the end of the race.
Got the Automatic Knock Hill BMWs just behind them as well. Viveka and Mias, one with the blue on the right and one with the blue on the left.
I just noticed it, that they are reversed, so good job,
quite good, doesn't
stuff.
it? Especially when they're running just in front of each other. That'll be the publicity shot sorted for these guys later on, I'm sure. It's a really nice livery though. I do like that a lot. Really good colours. Looks really good on the BMW actually as well. And kept very clean by Roy Viveka and Ben Mears. Viveka started in 16th place, Mears in 17th place. So started together, and it looks like they're going to finish together, which is always good. Biggest movers out there, Steve Clays, Chris Moretta, Koba Klaas, Jochen Lennartz and Dries Moosdi, with 6 positions gained. So good stuff by them. In a race where really there's not been many casualties of by way of crashing, only Van Boel, Macaulay, Rodriguez, Woodburn, and then Rolf Just and Nick Schuurmans, and then not sure who car 371 is. I think it's Thijs Berger, isn't it?
371 is Luke Thijs.
Oh, Luke Thijs. Yeah. Oh, Berger's still in the race. 23rd position. And this is getting pretty close now. Koba Klaas trying to just get within striking distance of Steven de Wolf. But yeah, it's tough when you're in these trains, isn't it? Though, really, because you know the car in front's getting a bit of slipstream. Eberer is getting a bit of slipstream off Moretta. De Wolf's getting some off Eberer, so Klaas can't really do anything at the back, really. And they're all a little bit spread apart. Not spread apart as such, but you know what I mean. There's half a second between each of them. Nobody's on anybody's tail as such. As Van Genegten comes through to start what will be the final lap. The white flag will be in the air, Marco.
Exactly, white flag in the air, and this will be the final lap of, I'd say, dominant performance by Jaap van Genegten, because he has been in control since the first corner, never in doubt. He had always clean track in front of him. He was able to pull away from his opponents, and that was of course the key to his victory, as he has only, I think, a few kilometers left to run before having a chance to finally celebrate what is absolutely a very well-deserved victory.
Yeah, he made actually quite a bad start, did Van Genegten. He almost lost the lead into turn 1, but he did. But after the first few corners, he really did sort it. Oh, Ben Mears is off. Just as we were saying how well they were doing, he must have heard it on the stream, because he's straight away gone into the grass. Looks like he's got all sorts of trouble there as well. What on earth has happened to Ben Mears? And here we're looking at Daniel Macaulay, who's having another incident. Oh dear. So last week's winner, well, that is from... that's not so glorious for him, Mark. I don't think that's a bit of an ignominious end to proceedings. Oh dear, Ben Mears, very nearly ended up having the same ending as Macaulay. Dear me. But here is EF Van Genechten. It's been a tremendous drive here by the Mercedes man for Atomic Motorsport, coming through the final corner, and he will take round 6 of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. It's his 5th win of the season, and that's well deserved.
Very, very well deserved, as we have still some battles left on the track. This is one of them. Moretta Eberer, the Wolf and Klaes.
And by the way, it means that Stuart Musselwhite has won the bronze class because
you're right.
The rest have been lapped.
Exactly. Nice spot there. Absolutely. And yeah, we are waiting for the leaders in the silver class. Here we go with Andrew Hopley, bringing his BMW 225 towards the start-finish line, and that would be, of course, a very, very sweet victory.
He's done a great job considering the, shall we say, the state of the car after he hit Arturo Alvarez earlier on. But Andrew Hopley comes across the line and he wins the silver category. Congratulations to him. Arturo Alvarez does finish in 2nd place. Wonder if there'll be any words exchanged over that one. Stuart Musselwhite then into the last sector of the lap, Marco, and he really, you know, took this one by sound strategy. Good strategy, good pit stop. Well, very good pit stop indeed, and that's given him the win.
Yes, final corners for him, and celebration in the Simracersworld team, because he, of course, as you can notice by the bright orange and black livery, is one of their drivers, and he well deserved victory in the bronze class. Stuart Musselwhite, great job from him, and I think
terrific driving.
I think we are mostly done with the driver.
Yeah,
I think he was the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the victory and you are the last car to cross the start, so everyone sees you, and you get also nice TV shot for the donuts there. So he gets the
perfect stuff.
he gets the.
He wishes he could do them so perfectly and so slowly, doesn't he, as well? But that's the magic of television for you. Stuart Musselwhite takes the bronze class. So on to the finishing order then from round 6 in the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. If Van Genechten takes his 5th win out of 6 races, and he did it in dominant fashion by 32 seconds after starting from pole position. Really a class apart around this Watkins Glen circuit today. Stijn van Boel with an all-time classic battle with Bob Boland, 2nd and 3rd. Gregory Vranks in 4th, Peter Grauds in 5th, and then winning the silver class is Andrew Hopley in 6th. Ahead of Arturo Alvarez. Those two came to blows in the middle of the race as well. Steve Klaes in 8th dragged the Ferrari into the top 8. Terrific job by him. Chris Moretta in 9th, Sebastian Eberer in 10th, and then Stephen de Wolf in 11th, Cobra Class in 12th, Roy Vervecke in 13th, and then Ben Mears in 14th. Lee Diemer 15th, Ben Taines 16th, 17th Ronald Moons, and then in 18th, winning the bronze class, as Marco said, Stuart Musselwhite. 19th, Brand van Altven, another good race for him. Pedro Braganza, after starting on pole, finished 3rd. Jochen Lennartz in 4th. Dries Moosdy starting from the pit lane, finished in 22nd place and 5th in bronze. Thijs van den Berger in 23rd, ahead of Ruben van Boel, and then Daniel Macaulay, Javier Garcia, and then Lee Woodburn, Luke Tice, Rolf Just, and Nick Schurmans. Good race, Marco. I really enjoyed that one. Something about Watkins Glen is very, very rarely a dull race, and we got just the opposite of that today.
Exactly. Even if one of those races I always like to say, when you judge by the number of overtakes, it might not seem very exciting, but I really like a race where there are not, let's say, many overtakes, but there are some very long battles that become battles not only of skill on the track in the sense of sending the car for the crazy overtake, but psychological battle, fighting 30, 40, 50 minutes one in front of the other, and the guy that makes the first mistake is the one to lose. So you cannot afford a mistake. We've seen this all over the field today. Fantastic race, and I cannot wait for the drivers to tell us about it. We've got two of them waiting for us in the interview room. I say we can bring in the second place car in the bronze category, if I'm not mistaken, should be Bram van Oudven. If I'm not mistaken, it should be him.
Indeed, yes.
Yes, here we go. Here he is. All yours.
All right, Bram van Oudven then joins us in the commentary box. Bram, welcome. It wasn't the win for you today, but second place will do, will it?
Yeah, it was. I had too little practice before, and I had a pit stop penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
So that's why the 23 second stop. Then, how much time do you think that cost you then overall over what you would normally spend in the?
It was a 15-second penalty.
Yeah. So it would have been close in the end then, but still. Yeah. A really good run out once more. Watkins Glen seems to suit the Mercedes. We saw Mercedes on top. How did you go about the early going of the race then? Because it's always a difficult one. It's always quite dangerous on the first couple of laps.
The start was pretty good, very clean in the back. But I got stuck behind another driver, and we were different speeds at different parts of the track, thus it was very hard to pass him, so I did the early pit stop again. But the penalty made it worse.
Yeah, it obviously costs you here because it is quite a slow pit lane as well. Cars are going past you quite quickly. In terms of this season in the bronze category anyway, it seems like the competition is just heating up slightly, and it must be fun to be a part of in that class.
Yes, it's getting closer each race, and also we're pretty clean in the class. We help each other out because Thijs van den Bergen sent me a setup to try for this track, but too little time to work it out.
So, I mean, going forward then, with how many races left? We've got 6 races left. Are you just looking to keep that consistency that you've had during the start of the season and just see where that takes you?
Yes, I'm only looking for the bronze class. Let the other cars do their thing. But the tracks that are on the schedule I like, so I think it will work out.
Nice one. Well, thanks for joining us, mate, and we'll catch you at the next round.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good to speak with Bram van Oudven and Marco. And who do you want to get next?
Well, since he was the second to come into the booth, I say we talk to a very dejected Dan McCauley. A frustrating race, certainly, for him. Hello, Dan.
Yeah, you definitely got that bit right.
So yeah, walk us through your race, and of course to the what went wrong, and what do you think about your mistake. And yeah, I mean, it was going very well up until that point.
Yeah, I struggled in qualifying. I just kind of never had time to make a set, so just jumped on the race one, and it was a little bit off pace, so just had to push from the start, tried to get aggressive. I think I made a few places on the first lap, and that was in my favour. And then just spent the whole time trying to chase down Arturo, and I struggled and took a lot out the tyres, which is eventually what led to the downfall. But I think after the move around the outside and stuff kind of cheered me up a little bit, and I just tried too hard to try and catch Peter in front of me and dropped it. And then I thought after the repairs I'd try and maybe get a fastest lap to try and steal a point or something, and I think I missed it by a 10th. So yeah, definitely wasn't my week this week.
And I mean, of course, it depends on how you see it, because since next week we are having a week off. On one end, I think you want to get racing as soon as possible to forget about this, but on the other end, maybe having a week off can help you focus and not think about what went wrong and maybe try to not make the same mistake again.
Yeah, obviously having the week off is going to be good. Gives me a bit of a break and then also a bit more time to prepare for Sebring. I think the key to last weekend was I'd done a lot of practice for the 12-hour. So that translated pretty easily across to this race, which is obviously the results showed how well that one went. So just try to start practicing, maybe have a few days off, and hopefully get back to the front for Sebring.
Thank you very much, man, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks for the Sebring round.
Yep, catch you guys later.
Thanks to Dan McCauley, and then we're joined in the commentary box for second week running by Bod Boland. Bod, welcome again, mate. You're getting making a habit of this.
I don't know about that. That was tough, very tough.
Oh yeah, but what a race it was! What a battle you had with Stein Van Boel. It went on for, it must have gone on for 20 plus laps, and yeah, in the end you just didn't quite get the better of it. But it was down to really the pit stop.
He deserved a second place. I was holding him up. I was trying everything I knew to keep him behind me, and unfortunately, I don't know a lot.
How good. Hey, look, you knew enough to keep him behind for a good 3/4 of the race. When you have a big battle with that, though, you must have you must sort of gain a lot of respect for the other driver. You must have enjoyed that one a lot.
Oh, definitely. It was. Stin was very clean. I put a move on him going into the bus stop that was. I don't think it was naughty, but it was a bit desperate. But I can't fault Stin. He was spot on.
So looking at the standings, and that's now 3 good races and 3 bad races. Hopefully now you can tip the balance in your favour when we go to Sebring. What sort of track is that for you? Does it suit your driving style?
I don't think there's a track out there that suits my style, to be honest. But Sebring's okay. It's all right. I don't go too bad in the GTE. GT3, the Mercs, not too keen on the curbs, but if I can stay clear of them, no reason why I can't be top 6, 7, 8 again. That's what I'll be aiming for.
Well, you've moved well into the top 10 in the championship now. You were 10th before this meeting. You will be potentially up a couple more positions as well, onwards and upwards then for the last 6 rounds, I guess.
I'm just really, really enjoying it, pal. With CMR, with Chris and Andy, just really, really enjoying it. Enjoying the league, just loving it.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, and I think you'll agree that the league organisers are also doing a great job as well. And we hope that continues, and we'll see you at Sebring then.
Yeah, big shout out to Ian and his helpers. He does a great job. You guys at Apex Racing TV. And I would just like to say thank you to Rubens Van Buel. We had a little practice on Monday and I did something wrong. And if I'd have been polled today, I might have got into trouble. So big thank you to Rubens Van Buel.
Nice one. By the way, we'll send you the money later for the plug.
No problem, guys. No problem.
Nice one, mate. I hope you enjoy watching that one back. I think you definitely will.
That was good fun. It's good fun.
See you later.
Thanks a lot.
Bod Boland there, Marco. And yeah, I mean, it's that was a hell of a race. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope you did as well, mate, because I certainly did.
It was a very, very, very nice race. Like I said, the tension was high throughout the entire event, and I really, really liked it. Bit sad that next week the drivers will have a week off. But they deserve it, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they do.
Also because, you know, we are getting ready for Sebring, one of the toughest tracks on the calendar. All those bumps, a very, very tough track also to get your reference points right. And I'm expecting another great, great race there. So, yeah, honestly, I cannot wait.
Perfect. Well, thank you for doing the cameras as well, and it's always a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for watching here on Apex Racing TV. Another round of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT series has passed. It was a terrific one, and we hope to see you in Sebring in 2 weeks' time. Good night.